You're listening to the Harmony of We, a space for remembering what we already are together. I'm Greg Kuiper, counselor, author, and fellow traveler in this ongoing field of being human. This podcast isn't about fixing. It's not about getting relationships right. It's about coming into resonance with yourself, with each other, and with the presence that lives in between. This is where the book Relationship, the Harmony of We continues in breath, in story, and in shared awareness. Hi, welcome back. In the last episode, we stepped into what it looks like to come back after we miss each other. How a moment can reopen even after it's already passed. And today, I want to stay with that, but from a different place. Because as simple as that moment might seem, there's a reason we don't do it more often. There's a very specific moment that happens after disconnection. You might recognize it. It doesn't happen during the moment itself. When something is said or missed or doesn't quite land, it happens after the conversation has moved on, after the tone is shifted, after the opportunity, at least on the surface, feels like it has passed. And in that space, something in you knows, not clearly, not always in words, but as a feeling, a quiet awareness, something didn't quite meet. And then, almost immediately, another movement begins. It's the moment where you can go back, you can feel it. It's still close enough, still accessible. You might even have the words or something like them. Hey, I think I missed you. That didn't come out the way I meant. Can we go back for a second? And for a brief moment, you hover there, right at the edge of returning, and then something shifts. And you don't. So imagine this. You're sitting with someone, a conversation just happened. Nothing dramatic, no conflict, but something about it didn't land. Maybe they said something that felt slightly off. Maybe you responded quickly, and now, a few minutes later, you can feel that it didn't quite come from the place you would have wanted. The conversation moves on, but inside, something stays. You feel it in your body, a slight tightness, a kind of unfinished feeling. And then the thought comes, I could say something. You even begin to form the sentence. You can almost hear yourself saying it, but then another thought arrives. It's probably not a big deal. I don't want to make this awkward, or we've already moved past it. And just like that, the moment closes. What's important here is not just that you didn't go back, it's everything that happened inside you in that moment. Because that moment is not simple. It's layered. There's awareness. Something didn't land. There's possibility. I could return. And then there's hesitation. And that hesitation has a texture to it. It might feel like a tightening in your chest, a subtle anxiety, a sense of uncertainty or pulling back. And it happens quickly. So quickly that we rarely stay with it long enough to really see it. Repair, at its core, asks something very specific. It asks us to pause the forward movement of everything, to step out of the natural flow of conversation and turn back toward something that already feels like it's behind us. And that's not a small thing. Because the moment we turn back, we're no longer just participating in the conversation, we're revealing something. We're saying in one way or another, that mattered. And this is where it can begin to feel vulnerable because Going back often means admitting we missed something or acknowledging we weren't fully present, right? Letting go of being right in the moment. Ooh. And even if we don't think of it that way consciously, something in us feels it. There's a part of us that wants to stay composed, together, in control, and repair softens that. It opens something. And not all of us feel comfortable there. There's also something else. When you consider going back, there's a question underneath it. What will happen if I do? And there's no clear answer. Will the person understand? Will they receive it? Will it make things better? Or will it make things more complicated? And so instead of stepping into that unknown, we stay where we are because staying feels safer, even if it's less connected. So we protect, not consciously, not intentionally, but automatically. We minimize. Wasn't a big deal. We justify. They probably didn't even notice. We redirect, we move forward. And in doing that, we avoid the discomfort of returning, but we also miss something. Because the moment doesn't disappear, it settles into the space between us, not as something obvious, not as something we talk about, but as something that's felt. And over time, these moments accumulate. This is very important. Not as one large disconnection, but as many small ones. Moments where something reached and didn't return. Moments where something could have been reopened and wasn't. And gradually, the space between two people begins to change. It becomes a little less responsive, a little less open, not dramatically, but enough to feel. And this doesn't just happen once, it happens again and again and again. A small moment, a missed tone, a response that didn't quite land, another opportunity to return, another hesitation, another moment that closes. And without realizing it, a pattern forms, not of conflict, but of not coming back. What if we saw these moments differently? Not as something we either handle perfectly or miss completely, but as something we're learning to notice, to stay with, to understand from the inside, because the moment of hesitation is where everything lives. Not just the disconnection, but the possibility of connection. What begins to change things is not forcing yourself to go back every time. It's noticing the moment before you decide, noticing the hesitation, the pull away, the internal conversation, and staying with it just a second longer. Because in that space, something becomes visible. Not just the moment, but the pattern. So maybe this week, you don't try to repair every moment. You don't try to get it right. You just notice. Notice the moment where something didn't land. Notice the moment where you could go back. And most of all, notice the hesitation, because that hesitation has something to show you. Because the strength of connection isn't just in coming back, it's in beginning to see what keeps us from returning in the first place. And when that becomes visible, something begins to shift. Not all at once, but enough. Enough to create a different possibility in the next moment. See you next time.